first 8th grade graduation mass and moving up ceremony in the 70-year history of Notre Dame High School. We are proud to have Kristen Gomez, Director of Advancement, Karen Green, who nurtured many of these kids for 7 years, and I'm sure continues to do so on the side. Deacon Walt, I think class, to help me, Deacon, 76, and Father Aaron Kolchak as our celebrant for the mass portion of today's activities.
For not only is it the first time that we'll have an 8th grade graduation class for Notre Dame High School, but this is the first time I have spent at Notre Dame High School, the first year. I'm a little nervous today, for the reason why is because, like I said, this is the first time I've celebrated an 8th grade graduation mass in my life. I'm also a little nervous because of the daily mass instead of a Sunday mass, so I prepared a different homily for the readings. But what happens today is as important as a Sunday celebration. We hear Jesus talking about entering through a narrow gate instead of a broad path. And what does that represent? It represents, if you ever heard this poem, the road less traveled. It represents doing what is right when it is difficult. And more importantly, it's persevering through difficulty instead of taking the easy way out. With something new in our lives, such as a new school, we understand that there's something different about this year. Not talking about COVID, not talking about anything else, except something new that should be cherished for the rest of your lives. A step in becoming adults, but a step in showing your strength and courage, even without saying a word. You might ask yourself, what is so special about 8th grade graduation mass, where next year you'll be in the same hallways, your lockers might be moved, you might have new classes, new teachers, but everything seems pretty normal. That first step, though, is acknowledging that you've had a tremendous accomplishment in getting this far. Not because you are expected to graduate, even though I hope each and every one of you and your parents expected that, but to overcome the various challenges of your year and to recognize that there is something special in persevering. Jesus asks us to enter the narrow gate not because it is easy, because it is worthwhile. Because it's very easy to let things fall into decay and ruin. It's very easy not to study for that Spanish test. I failed Spanish, if you want to know. I also got a D my first semester of college. It was in sacred scripture, the Bible. And I guess it's fitting that I was guessing the wrong passage, so I guess old habits die hard. But more importantly, it's easy to not care. And that spirit of not caring can become very prevalent if we don't acknowledge that each and every accomplishment we have is special. Who here in this room, graduates, still have exams this week? No one. Who here believes they passed all their exams? How come no one person raised his hand? Are we sure the tests aren't too hard, Mr. Bianco? I got your back. But to live courageously, to acknowledge your accomplishments, is much more than simple words, but it's actions, it's a mentality, it's pride, and more importantly, it's faith. Faith that you can overcome the challenges. I am still terrible at speaking Spanish. No hablo español. You have to think about it for a second. You might have a difficult time in math. Try asking your parents some days to help with math homework, and I'm pretty sure they won't be able to figure it out as well. More importantly, however, this 8th grade graduation shows that you are ready to take the next step into high school, to take that next step in adolescence, but more importantly, to take that next step to college, that next step to your future careers, way down the line. For if you ask your parents about their time in high school, their time in 8th grade, they might not remember it, but you can. If you ask Jesus about his life with his mom and dad, he might be thinking about something else. More importantly, what you have in every step of your way on this journey is an opportunity. You have the opportunity today to be celebrated by your family and friends, your fellow classmates, to celebrate your accomplishment of moving up a grade. You have the accomplishment of pretty soon joining sports at a higher level, joining academics at a higher level, maybe getting a little bit more freedom from your parents, a little bit more responsibility, the opportunity to show who you are and how you want to present yourself. That opportunity is cherished because it shows that you're on the road to independence, but more importantly, you're on the road to showing what you actually represent. Do you represent the narrow gate, the road less traveled, the difficult road, but one that is more worthwhile? Or are you going to take the easy way out? Are you going to shy away from responsibility? Or are you going to embrace that challenge and overcome it? Are you willing to admit your mistakes, but grow stronger from them? Are you willing to be truthful to your friends when they need you, your parents when you fail them? Or are we going to hide away? Doesn't matter if you're a priest, a deacon, a principal, a teacher. We all have that responsibility. But you have that opportunity to live it out much more in a time where you are proud of, in a sense. In a time where it's very easy to hide it away. Yet, you have the opportunity to choose a different path, to follow like Christ did, in choosing something that is more difficult, but obviously something that should be celebrated. The opportunity to show who you really are. It's a great honor and a privilege to have been celebrating Mass and to be with you this past year in a limited role due to COVID, because of the inspiration to myself, looking back at my own middle school life, being very shy, being a little bit afraid to speak my mind, being a little bit afraid of my parents, who were both prison guards, so you can imagine that. It was difficult, I'll admit that. But more importantly, it's an inspiration to know that you still have so much time in high school coming up to develop who you want to be. And that's a great gift. The opportunity to make mistakes, but to be supported by your family and friends. The opportunity to not be perfect at everything, but still enjoy life. The opportunity to have faith in yourself, and in doubt, receive support from those that love you. You are the class of 2025. 15 years since I graduated high school, and in that time, you'll be asked to do great things. You'll be asked to have more responsibility. But more importantly, you'll be asked to show what you represent and how you represent yourself. It shows that you are ready to take on much more than you might think you are. But not because you're ready, but because you have the opportunity to do so. That is the real grace of going from middle school to high school, the highest level of the basic academic curriculum. The highest level until you can choose what path you want to follow. We each have our own path, we each have our own unique journey, but we always have the opportunity to do so with courage, perseverance, faith, and strength. May God bless you on your journeys here today. May God be with you in this summer vacation. And may God be with your family and friends, who I hope you'll turn to for support, to be the best version of yourself you can be. And always ask God for support as well, for it is with His grace that we can do wondrous things. It's with His grace that we can grow and follow Him in all things. For Christ has come to this world not for our own sake, but for each and every one of us. You are part of a great class, but you have to show that greatness to each and every one of us. For it is your life that we celebrate here today, and it is your life that is needed to show that strength to the world.
Let me tell you what happened to us in June of last year. Around this time, we weren't sure what kind of school there was going to be. We weren't sure who was coming to school. We weren't sure who had a job and who didn't have a job. We weren't sure if people would make the sacrifice on a personal level to send their kids to Notre Dame. And then we found out, guess what? You're going to have a 7th and 8th grade too. And I couldn't be more thrilled. We got to September, we're 5 days in person. Everyone's got a 6 foot, the teachers had all their ammo. Every teacher had a 6 foot stick, wipes, sanitizer, hand sanitizer, and lesson plans when they went to battle. We're having bi-weekly meetings to figure out okay, if a lot of teachers are quarantined and a lot of kids are quarantined, how are we going to pull this off virtually? Because we're not going to let the kids fall behind. We decided as a school that we were going to be bold, courageous, determined, and excited about 5-day in person for kids. Because the thing they needed most was the socialization. Being with other people their age. Having an adult lead them in person and not via some Zoom camera. And that seems so long ago. We're now in a church where nobody has masks on except for the famous Logan Bianco. And we're in a comfort zone again. And we're excited what is coming next. We got a school with growing enrollment. We got a school where you walk in the door, there's a cross staring at you in the face. You go right or left, and there's lockers with no locks on them because you don't need them. We got kids looking good in their uniforms, and for the most part, they're just being kids. Every now and then, you got to nudge them back in line, and that's part of being a kid, and we embrace that. Then at 8:30, in my opinion, this is what every school should do. There's morning prayer, and there's the pledge. Oh, then you find out what you're having for lunch. So, it's kind of cool. And then Mr. Barone usually celebrates birthdays and all the accomplishments of the kids the previous day. We're into celebrating kids' success. We're into energy. We want energy, positive kid energy. We want them to be bold. Like when Bella walks in my office with 2 of her friends, a little 8th grader, 13 years old. You think we can do this? You think we can do that? We want that. When Gracie Phillips walks in and I'm talking to Jack Houseneck on her phone via some kind of technology, almost I could see his face. I don't know what you call that, but it was pretty cool. But she felt comfortable enough and excited enough to walk in the principal's office. That's the kind of school we want. And we're excited that the 8th grade kids were the first. This group was the first. And they brought a lot of energy and enthusiasm to our school. Because we love 73 Union Street. And they're making it better. I'm also excited about the future for them. Because commencement means the beginning. And today begins their venture into high school. This is when the game counts. This is when your grades go on your transfer. This is when you're really college prep. This is when you're career prep. This is when you're spiritually prep. So it's exciting, the next 4 years. And you graduates, it'll go by like that. So get involved in anything. Be bold. Do 2 sports in the season. Challenge an AP course. Try the chorus or band. Take an art course. Somehow, Mrs. Smith back there finds a little bit of art in all of us. Challenge your potential. It's exciting, and you're in a safe place to do it. You won't be judged, you won't be criticized, you'll be supported. And if you're judged and criticized inappropriately, it gets around and then we protect you. So, we're excited to do this. have fun. Now, to speak about the first 7 years for many of you, we have invited Mrs. Green, St. Joe's principal, to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to many of you tonight. So I'm very honored that I was asked to speak at your 8th grade graduation this evening. So at this time last year, as Mr. Bianco mentioned, I never would have imagined that we would be faced with a pandemic and forced to make some significant changes at St. Joseph Regional School, and that the class of 2020 would be the last 8th grade class to celebrate their graduation as St. Joe students in our church. So it wasn't an easy decision to make, but with the significant loss of funding from our diocese and parish, it became the most reasonable approach to further our pre-K through 12th system in Genesee County. So this school year has certainly presented its challenges, but if there's one thing both St. Joe's and Notre Dame can be proud of this year, it is that we returned to in-person instruction from day one, and we persevered until the end of what will be a year we will never forget. When we returned to school this past September, our building had a very different feel. It was missing those big kids, as our kindergarten students often call you, and the building seemed so much quieter without them in the classrooms, hallways, and cafeteria. Beckett wasn't walking through our hallways as our school mayor anymore. Jamin wasn't falling off her stool in ELA class or displaying her other graceful moves. And her cousin Ryan will always hold his higher church attendance as an accomplished feat over her. We no longer heard that unique high-pitched laughter from Tim and Andrew, particularly in the lunchroom. Gracie wasn't there to keep the teachers on their toes with all of her questions. We no longer had Wet Ham, you know who you are, or Reese, as he emptied the recycling bin and put the basket on his head to become Recyclops. We miss seeing Tim, Beckett, Reese, and Matthew Compton in their suits and ties on dress-down days, looking like Secret Service agents. And we will never forget Chance and Matthew wearing those matching ugly Christmas sweaters for the Christmas celebration. Do you remember the sloths holding the Christmas trees? Gone were our gamers like Nelson and Matthew, who kept us all up to date on the latest YouTube videos. And how could we forget when Rocco would finish your online lessons with his infamous Keurig machine coffee brewing? And particularly missing was that special group of girls, Jordan, Sara, Gianna, Claira, Caitlin, Jane and Gracie, Maria, Samantha, and Kate, who were studious, helpful, and driven, and assisted us in keeping all of you boys in line. We were always amazed by how this group of girls looked out for each other and pushed each other to be their absolute best. And there will never be another win that will compare to the infamous Halloween door decorating contest, full of spookiness and memes, with larger-than-life plugins and LED lights. It was true teamwork on display for everyone in our school to see. I'm sure it was not the year you imagined it would be, moving to a new school and dealing with a pandemic. But I'm confident that you face the challenges that this year has presented, and that you have found another school that will challenge you to continue to learn and grow and make many lasting memories, as the ones we will always have with each of you. There are many new faces that I see as I look around the church this evening, and I hope that you realize how special our Catholic schools are and what it means to be a part of the school family. In the next 4 years, continue to look out for each other, lift each other up, get involved in activities, and be sure to make more lasting memories like the ones I mentioned tonight. And finally, just a few words of advice as you move on to high school next year. Don't forget to thank your parents and family for investing in the Catholic education for you. Take some time to thank the faculty and staff who have worked many long hours that you don't see in the classroom and have poured their hearts and lives into teaching you. Continue to work hard and keep God at the center of all of your decisions. And please come back and visit us. We love to see you grow and hear about all of your accomplishments. And we pray that we will have played a role in watching you succeed in all that you do. May God bless you always.
Good evening, everyone. pretty much ever since. And it's really a joy to have these 8th graders come over to Notre Dame this year. One little thing before I move on to what I'm supposed to do, I was a little concerned when Father said how many people passed the test. And I looked up and I see Nate raise his hand, which isn't surprising because he's a sharp young man and he's pretty confident most of the time. But right behind him was taking credit. I think the last time she failed the test, I had a full head of hair. She didn't raise her hand. It made me a little nervous. You raise your hand now, so I know if that's all your test thing. Okay, now I can go on to the news. Okay, I am going to serve as kind of master ceremonies and introducing everybody on what they're going to be doing. And we're going to start out with 2 speakers from this class. The first one is Mr. Gabe Mileham. Gabe, come up here.
I came to Notre Dame because I saw what my brother had socially, academically, and sports-wise, and I wanted that. When I first came to the school, I was scared. I was scared that I wouldn't fit in, but this wasn't the case. On my first day here, I instantly saw how accepting everyone was. I was able to make friends very quickly, and I felt that I was part of something. These teachers also made me feel very welcome and made the transition so much easier. They have been very supportive and helpful throughout this year, and are always willing to go the extra mile. And that's not something you get in every school. Before I came here, I thought that this school was only about winning the next box, winning the next thing. But as the year went on, I realized that it has more to it than just sports. Although the sports and really have been a lot of fun. The people here make it school, and I'm so glad that I was able to have an awesome opportunity to come here. I would like to thank my teachers and friends for a fun and unforgettable year, and I cannot wait for the next year.
Our next speaker is Marissa House.
Give me a second. Okay. Coming to Notre Dame, I was super nervous and I was really scared that I wouldn't be able to make friends. However, I was told that Notre Dame was a welcoming school. By the time the second week of school rolled around, I already had multiple friends. Somehow I let my friends talk me into playing basketball and volleyball, 2 sports I had never played before. After I started playing these sports, I became super close with some upperclassmen and got closer with the girls in my classes. I felt comfortable there and was able to express my weird personality even though it was a little too much sometimes. I want to thank my teachers for helping me with anything whenever I needed it, making me feel comfortable, and Ms. Gomez for giving me the opportunity to give this speech. I am very thankful for coming to Notre Dame, and I'm very happy that I was part of my life.
Nice job, Gabe and Marissa. It's not easy to get up in front of this mic when you're 13 years old, in front of your peers, and a bunch of adults you don't know. So you were bold and courageous, and it looks like you got some good coaching. So that's great. Now we have some special recognition awards. This group of people, when I call your name, please stand, and if we could, please hold the applause to the end. This is our members of our National Junior Honor Society. Ashton Crawford, Jordan Dwyer, Nathan Foss, Claira Keppler, Chance King, Matthew Kirsch, Caitlin Kratz, Nilson Lasker, Jamin McDonald, Ryan McDonald, Gabe Mileham, Isaiah Plath, Maria Prattico, Matt Rogers, Caleb Smith, Rocco Sprague, Rice Cameron, Kathleen Tenney, and Matthew Whitmire. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And they were led by Mr. Landry and Mr. Bowman in a very unique and favorable manner. Takes a lot of patience, and they have. Now for our faculty and staff awards. This is in recognition of outstanding work ethic, Christian spirit, tolerance and respect of others, strong character, and self-discipline. This year's recipients are Destin, Corcoran, and Nathan Foss. Please come up to the podium. Eighth grade students of the month. For this, please stand. Hold the applause to the end, please. For September, Jordan Dwyer. October, Maria Prattico. November, Nathan Foss and Gabe Mileham. December, Ashton Crawford. January, Marissa DeCosta. February, Destin Corcoran and Caitlin Kratz. March, Matthew Compton and Rocco Sprague. And April, Chance King and Kathleen Tenney. And these are selected by our faculty. And every faculty member votes. And it's quite an honor to get the nod from the faculty. So great job.
Okay, I'm now going to recognize the students who earned perfect attendance. Quite an achievement in a COVID year. Great job. Again, please stand and we'll hold our applause to the end. And just so everyone knows, when you get your diploma, envelope, any awards or certificates, you have it in there. So, all right, the perfect attendance. Matthew Compton, Ashton Crawford, Jordan Dwyer, Nathan Foss, Nielsen Laska, Gabe Mileham, Maria Prattico, Samantha Smith, and Rocco Sprague. Congratulations.
Ashton Crawford. Highest average physical education, second highest average algebra, Jordan Dwyer. Highest average math 8 physical education, second highest average band, Nathan Foss. Second highest average religious studies 8, Andrew House. Highest average social studies 8, second highest average music 8, Chance Payne. Highest average algebra, English 8, science 8, art 8, Spanish 8, and physical education, Matthew Kirsch. And second highest average religious studies 8, Matthew Kirsch. Highest average physical education, Caitlin Kratz. Highest average religious studies 8, Nilsson Laska. Highest average Spanish 8, Ryan McDonald. Highest average Spanish 8, physical education. And second highest average math 8, Gabe Mileham. Highest average physical education, Izzabella. Highest average algebra, physical education, and second highest average English 8, social studies 8, science 8, religious studies 8, art 8, and Horace Maria Prattico. Second highest average religious studies 8, Matthew Rogers. Highest average social studies 8, second highest average Spanish 8, Rocco Sprague. Highest average physical education, Catherine Penny. And highest average music 8, Matthew Whitmire. We are now going to do the presentation of candidates. When your name is called, please come up and we will hand you your diploma and your award. Izzabella, Barone. Logan, Bianco. Matthew, Compton. Destin, Corcoran. Ashton, Crawford. Jordan, Dwyer. Nathan, Foss. Goll. Gianna, Groff. Timothy, Perez. Andrew House. Claira, Keppler. Chance Payne. Matthew Kirsch. Caitlin Kratz. Nilsson Laska. Jamin McDonald. Ryan McDonald Jr. Tramell, McGee. Gabe, Mileham. Sara, Rose Murray. Gracie, Phillips. Plath. Prattico. Matthew Rogers. Caleb Smith. Rocco Sprague. Beckett Swanson. Gianna. Samantha Smith. Catherine Tenney. Marisha Tomolsky. Brody Warner. And Matthew Woodheim.
Okay, now we can have all the graduates please stand. Take your tassel and put it from right to the left. Congratulations, you're officially graduated 8th grade. Let's do all.
Start off with some thank yous. Thanks to Joe Candelucci, our music director, Faith Falkowski and Sam Bowman, two alums that volunteered to sing here. You were greeted in the back by Cameron Ramon and Lori Fix. They bent over backwards to help the kids in the school. We appreciate them. The famous Matthew Landry had it on Facebook. He does about any job you ask him to do at the school, and he helped with the transition for the kids, a familiar face. Then there's Elena Gabriel, science teacher extraordinaire, Sara Russell, English teacher extraordinaire, Todd Bowman, English, you didn't know he was going to be doing that, but he did it. English and religious studies, they all did a great job welcoming the kids, supporting the kids, and also maintaining the necessary rigor so that they're ready to be students long-term and lifelong learners like hopefully all of us are. I want to wish all of you an outstanding summer, but before you know it, we'll be back in the saddle and we'll be amping up for another great school year. I'm excited about working with your kids for several more years, and hopefully bring a friend home. That would be fun too. So have a great summer, have a great evening, and congratulations to the graduates. Thank you.
We're all